YouTube? 92X Garage here, and today we're gonna be talking about how to lift a car up properly with jack and jack stands so that you guys can feel safe working on cars. If you're new to this channel, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we'll for sure be making more videos for this channel in the future. All right, so there's a couple of things that you wanna have to jack up a car. The first one is you want to have some type of jack. Now you can get, a 2-ton jack, you can get a 3-ton, you can get a 3.5-ton jack. I have that. And then there's two different types of jacks. There's a regular jack, and then you have what's called a low profile jack. And a low profile jack is recommended more for cars just because they sit a little lower on the ground so that you can get underneath the car and jack it up. I kind of just wanted to give you guys a close-up of what my jack looks like. But yeah, so this is definitely not a low profile jack. Yeah, this is honestly a nice jack. I wish I was paying more attention when I went into the store. I just was super excited, like a little kid. And I just went in there and bought jack and didn't realize that, it's not a low profile jack, but it'll still work for the video and for the car. And, but yeah, definitely, I would recommend getting a low profile jack. They're just more, usefuler, especially if you have like low cars that are almost sitting on the ground. But other than that, yeah, this jack will work. So yeah. All right, YouTube. And the second thing you want to have for this type of job is you want to have some type of jack stand. Now, I have a 6-ton jack stand. Go big or go home. But you can use like 3-ton jack stands. But you want to make sure that you have some type of jack stand because these bad boys.
Get cool, bad boys, what you gonna do? Or what you gonna
will help keep the car lifted, and they're really nice for getting underneath the car and just making more room to get under there and work when you're under the car. So, all right, let's get this bad boy lifted up. Arr. Oh, what's up, dudes? Now, there's different jacking points on a car, and today we're gonna be jacking the rear end up. And so I'm gonna take the camera and show you underneath the car where you're supposed to jack it at. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna show you underneath the car where to jack the car up. And so let me switch the camera. All right, YouTube, let's get under this car and show you the jacking point. And what this is called is a notch. And so from here to here, this is where you're jacking the car up. So you want to use this notch. You want to use this notch to jack your car up. All right. So let's get this jack underneath the car. Slide her under there. And I'm gonna get down here so I can show you guys what it looks like with the jack under here, with that notch. All right. Okay. All right. So you see the notch and you see the jack. All right, I'm gonna start pumping it up and it's gonna touch the notch. Now, very important. Wait, important? What am I talking about? Anyway, very important fact. When lifting a car up, you want to have some type of, either a piece of wood or something blocking the back two tires so that when you're jacking the car up, it doesn't roll on you. Or what you can do is you can go into the car, and I'll show you here. Go into the car, in your car, and what you can do is the emergency brake right here. You can pull it up. So that the car wheels don't turn on you. So, yep, just wanted to let you know that. In this case, we are working on the rear wheels, and so I'm just probably gonna go ahead and put some blocks in the front of the car so that the front wheels don't move on me. All right, YouTube, I'm gonna start jacking the car up, and we'll get this thing off of the ground, and then I'll show you where the jack stands will go underneath the car. She's jacked all the way up, so let's get that jack stand under there and show you where to properly put that. All right, YouTube. So we got the 6-ton jack stand here, and I'm gonna show you where to put this thing underneath the car the proper way. Now, there is a shield under here, and it just keeps everything underneath the car protected from salt and water so that things don't rust under here. But I'm gonna show you where to put the jack stand when the cover's on. All right, YouTube, so we're underneath the car here, and you can see that this here is the shield, and but right here you can see that there's a little hole, and right through it you can see the frame, and so that lets me know where to put the jack stand. And so I'm gonna slide the jack stand over. All right. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna release the pressure from the jack, and the car will sit on the jack stand. All right, YouTube. So as you can see, the jack is no longer touching the car anymore. The jack stand is doing all of the support. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to take off the wheels, and I'll show you how to properly take off the wheels, and then we'll start getting into the brake pads. All right, let's do it. All right, YouTube, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take the wheels off of the car, and we're just gonna examine the brake pads and rotors. And so I'll show you how to take the wheels off, and then I'll show you how to get access to the brake pads and rotors. So let's do that next. All right, YouTube, so here we have a 1/2-inch impact gun, and the socket size for the lug nuts are a 21 millimeter. And so we're gonna zip this off, and we're gonna get to those brake pads and rotors and see what they look like. Let's do it. This is how you properly take off a tire. All right, YouTube, this is actually how you take off a tire. tire like this. Take it off, put it to the side. If you want to use it as a seat, you can. All right. So as you can see, we can see the caliper and we can see the rotor itself. Now, I'm gonna take everything apart so that you guys can kind of get a look of everything, and then I'll kind of just explain as I go of what I'm taking off, just so that you guys just have an idea if you are doing brake pads and rotors yourself. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, YouTube. So first thing that we're gonna do in order to access these brake pads there are 14 millimeter bolts on the top and on the bottom. Now, you don't necessarily have to take the top one off. You can take the bottom one off, and then what you can do is lift the caliper up. And then, you know, if you have a bungee cord or some type of hanger, you can kind of like move the caliper out of the way. So what you'll need is a 14 millimeter, I think a 3/8 socket and a 3/8 wrench. So let's get this on there and take that bolt off. Alright, YouTube, so as you can see, we got the brake pads right here, and then just above that is the brake clips that the brake pads slide in, and then these little guys right here are brake pad springs. And so what they do is they kind of put tension on the brake pads, and what they'll do is they push the brake pads kind of a bit out to kind of reset them. So when you push when you don't apply the brakes, or when you let off of them, these springs kind of like push, they push the brake pad back to, you know, where it originally was, to almost reset and get ready for when you do apply on the brake pads. And so that's what these things act. So, and I can take one off and kind of show you what it looks like. But like, so when you push the brake pad, or the brakes in, the pistons push the pads and it presses it against the rotor. But then when you release off of the brake pedal, these springs retract and kind of pull the brake pad back out and away from the rotor, almost as like a reset. So yeah, so I'm gonna take these brake pads off and show you what they look like. All right, so we're gonna take these pads off. You can use like a flathead screwdriver if you want, or you can use like a little pry tool to kind of wedge into the brakes, and I'll show you right here. So you just stick it in right there between the rotor and the brake pad, and then you kind of, you know, give it a turn, kind of just turn the pry tool just a little bit, and the pad should come right out. See if I can get it out here. Okay, so we got her out. So this is what the brake pad looks like out, and this has a bit of life left on it. You can see how thick it is. the camera can focus, but yeah, you can definitely see that this has a lot of life left. I'm gonna pull out the other side and kind of compare and see as far as life on the pad looks like with both of them. And you're doing the same thing. You're just putting that pry tool in there and just kind of prying on it a little bit. But yeah, these are the pads out. And honestly, we put them together, they honestly got the same amount of pad life. You know, I was hearing some grinding. But I think it was really coming from the passenger side in the back. But right now, I'm sorry, not the passenger side, the driver's side. And so, but what is it gonna hurt to check the passenger side too? But no, these look really good. It's probably just the driver's side that is squealing, and you know, the pads are just getting worn. But no, these look really good. So but yeah, this is what your pads look like outside of the caliper. And yeah, but let's say one of the pads were grinded down, you know, there was just, it was, you maybe had like, oh, I don't know, quarter of an inch pad life left on both of these, then yeah, definitely get these replaced. And they just slide right back in. They should just slide right back in. Now sometimes newer pads can be a little hard to put in. You might have to grind the ear down on them a little bit. And if we ever have a brake job, well, we probably will have a brake job video. I'll kind of show you what to do as far as grinding the ears down. So, but yeah, let's get this baby put back together. If we look at the rotors, they're honestly not too bad. And the reason for that is because, you know, the pads still have life, and so they're not going to do too much damage to the rotor. The rotor is like very smooth still, and that's, you know, when you get a brand new rotor, it's very smooth. On the surface, but when the pads have no more life and you start to hear a grinding sound, they're tearing into the rotor, and so they're putting little small grooves into the rotor. And so when you take, you know, your wheel off and you see that you have no more pad life on your pads, most likely the pads have warped the rotors. But this one is very smooth to the touch. So if you ever curious if your rotors are messed up or they're just warped out, put your finger and just kind of rub on it, and you'll feel like grooves. Like it's supposed to have a soft or like a smooth surface, but if it doesn't, that means the pads and rotors need to be replaced. Now, if you're working in a professional mechanic shop, or you're just working in your garage as a DIYer and you got another person helping you on a car, before you put the jacks down, you want to basically kind of yell out clear. You want to say clear. That way the other person knows that you are about to put the car down, and so that everybody else is safe and no one gets hurt. So that we're gonna demonstrate that. Clear. All right, YouTube, that's it for this video. Car safely down on the ground. Now you know how to jack a car up safely using a jack and jack stands. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and we'll for sure be bringing more videos your way.